Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Simon here, back with the second episode of Bad Batch Season 2. Very interesting episode for the opener. Revisiting a place that I didn't think we'd see again, Se2, which is the old hunting ground of Count Dooku. And, again, I think it's kind of sometimes easy to forget just how close in proximity the events of the Bad Batch are to the Clone Wars. It is only a few months removed from Dooku, being killed. So it made sense that, a lot of his personal belongings would still be in his palace, or his, I don't know what you would call it, manor, maybe. Obviously, the effects on his homeworld have been devastating because the Empire has just come in, wiped out the local area, and have started to loot everything that they can. And there is a lot to loot, as we saw. Some interesting little hints as to where this season might be going. We've got this new character, V. Maybe the group will start to more closely associate with her, get some jobs. I think, looking at Omega, she is going to have an interesting development through this season. I still predict that she's kind of going to go through this angsty teen phase where she's going to feel a bit, either like she's a burden, or she's going to feel a little bit repressed and that she needs to do her own thing. And so she might try and run away. It's going to be very much a dad-daughter kind of relationship between the two parties, I think. And I don't say dad just meaning, Hunter. I mean all of them. They're all like her dads. But, a really kind of strong opening. Left us on a bit of a cliffhanger, although I've no doubt that, those rockets are going to kick in the moment we start the episode. And fingers crossed the group do get away with a little bit of loot, because, at this point, you've got Wrecker and Hunter who are inside the manor, trying to get out, and the other group who are plummeting towards the planet. But should they survive that, I would have thought it would have been relatively routine to get the stuff that they have to the ship and just get out of there. So we'll see where it goes. Anyway, we're going to jump in. So let's watch the second episode of The Bad Batch. Just think of how much money is being thrown to the ground right now. There you go. Tension immediately gone.
We use the city ruins for cover and trek back to the Marauder.
Guessing this is some kind of a ship dock. Oof. There's a sturdy cargo pod, although it's very finely balanced right now.
That was smoother than some of Wrecker's attempted landings.
Now, nothing looks much bigger on the inside than it does on the outside.
Where we are, I'm
Is it like the Star Wars TARDIS?
Empire's gonna come looking for their containers. We haven't fully landed yet.
You'll be fine. The boosters will kick back in, surely.
My left femur has been fractured by approximately 150 kilograms of pressure. So,
It's his way of saying his leg is broken. Yeah, there's definitely a deceptive perspective on the doors, I think.
Still haven't landed.
Yeah. See, he looks like a tiny person on a normal size, container.
We need to get away from here and find cover.
She wants the loot. But is she overly ambitious?
it means go radio silent. Comm channels are being monitored.
Uh-oh. Is that one of the former townsfolk? Yeah. You've got a Dooku kind of hairstyle.
Who are you?
I'm registering a heat source 200 meters west of here. I suspect.
Is that where the survivors of the city went?
How did you take us there?
Huh.
Looks like I don't have much say in the matter.
I like the idea that the clones failing because of the Bad Batch are one of the reasons why the Empire implements stormtroopers. So in a way, the Bad Batch bring about the downfall of their own brothers.
Nothing will do any damage.
It was stolen.
You think Dooku funded his war effort by only stealing from outside worlds? No. He took from us, his own people.
He was a
Quest
tyrant,
for power is why our city is now
a dictator.
Well,
The sooner they're gone, the better. And the same goes for you.
He just wants to rebuild.
Now, if you'll excuse me, some of us have work to do.
Well, I'm not sure if there's more to this guy. Oh dear.
I have a visual on the targets.
They do not recognize them as clones with the armor and whatnot. Surely they've all been told to look out for the Bad Batch.
You try that.
what is it?
Look inside.
Laser beam through the eye.
There are jewels in here?
A separatist archive. Fascinating.
Not separate.
No, cultural.
Serenian.
Yeah.
We did exist before the war, you know.
She's learning the meaning of what's truly valuable right now. But she wants to still go after the war chest.
Grab the battery pack. For what? Leave it to me.
Is he going to use it to blow some stuff up? That's going to blow up. Nope. Okay. Shit. Well, for all the good that stunning the other clones did, that clone is definitely dead. Yeah. I love I love the idea that you've got Hunter on one side firing off stun shots and Wrecker just firing mega explosions.
Where's Omega?
She was just here.
She's gone for the war chest.
Well, she's not now.
Nothing of Crosshair so far in these first two episodes. I would like to see his perspective on things this season. Uh-oh. Oh, jeez. Love the sound of those guns, though. I was going to say, what if Tex gets really hurt? Then Omega will feel really bad. Like, imagine if they just killed Tech. Like, that would be a pretty intense way to start the season and really put a lot of guilt on Omega. Because again, I've not seen the trailer, so I don't know who's in what scenes later on. Damn, he's doing all this with a broken leg.
Omega, listen to me. Please,
She's being driven by guilt.
let it go.
See? Angst. She feels like she's a burden. But also, it will suck if they don't come out of this with anything to show for it. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, and they are dead. That's another dead clone.
Hey, kid,
And he's going to stay behind and give her the toy. Ah.
keep it.
Remember,
Do what I say.
happiness is more important than any shiny thing.
Get going. More will be.
Unless that shiny thing can bring you happiness. So she got something that she finds fun. Wrecker got something he finds fun.
I'm sorry we lost the war chest.
But yeah,
We'll manage without.
failed mission. Crosshair.
As of now, we've recovered
Oh.
85% of the war chests.
but I'll chase that number to perfection, sir.
I see. If Governor Tarkin were to learn of my misstep, then I would be at risk.
He's there to silence the
Which is why
information,
a new report will be submitted.
and thus the failings of the Empire, self-preservation of its individuals.
I will not falsify an official report.
Oh,
I understand.
good. He's gonna die. Good soldiers follow orders. Okay, so, yeah. Getting a bit of Rampart at the end there, who I'd forgotten was a character, to be honest, up until he came back. I thought we were going to see Crosshair. But again, depicting one of the issues of the Empire, and I think just kind of the military-style government in general. It's always a case of, you know, fighting for one's own survival and doing whatever you can to, you know, push your career forward over what the greater good is. And that's a prime example right there. Eventually that Rampart will get his comeuppance, no doubt. But I think the message in specifically this episode is, you know, money doesn't make you happy. And that's kind of like, I get it, but it's much easier to say that when you're rich, you know. That's typically a saying that people with money tend to say. Yes, money is not the key to all happiness, but by God, does it help? Does it help to alleviate a lot of things that make you unhappy? So, you know, again, I can't necessarily blame Omega for, you know, for wanting to give back something. And like I said, it was very much the kind of angst that led her to that kind of decision. Because it did seem a bit weird that she was so motivated to go and get the war chest. You know, and you know, again, that reasoning kind of gives a bit more credence as to why she was, you know, very determined to go and get it. But yeah, I mean, essentially all they got out of this was a bit of a life lesson and a broken leg for Tech, you know. I suppose the good thing is that, you know, their presence will remain undetected within the Empire other than, you know, Rampart. And Rampart may then go and speak to Crosshair, or potentially the killing of that captain might raise more questions, and the clones might start to, you know, smell that something is off, and that might get back to like Cody or even, you know, Crosshair himself, and they may realize that, hey, something's going on here, clones being killed for no reason, you know, yada yada yada. It'll be interesting to see how that develops, because there was no Crosshair, and, you know, one thing I really liked about the first season was the perspective of the clones in the Empire, and we got that mainly through Crosshair, you know. So I'd like to see a lot more of that this season, if possible. The funny thing I found about this episode in particular was that, you know, obviously the clones have been very careful, you know, the Bad Batch, about using stun settings, not harming their brothers, as they would say. And then all of a sudden you've just got Wrecker pulling out this massive laser bomb, you know, destroying a V-Wing, you know, killing the pilot, and then, you know, firing at the other clone troopers that were on the ground there. You know, it was just a kind of sudden switch from, you know, careful to murderous, and it was very fitting for the characters, I think. But, you know, a good opening 2 episodes, you know, again, kind of setting them up to still be in servitude, you know, to try and work off their debt, as you might say. I thought, honestly, at one point that Tech was going to die. I thought that when he was wounded and being pinned down on the tree, I thought they were going to go down a really dark route and have him die, and have that be kind of a lesson for Omega that, you know, her greed cost more than, you know, they could afford. And that sometimes it's best just to leave things alone and, you know your limits, know when to give up. But they didn't. They you know, kept everyone alive. And that's the thing, is not watching the trailers, I don't know that everyone is in scenes, you know, that take place later down the line, you know. So that's the nice thing, is that I don't quite know what the end result is here. And, you know, with the Bad Batch, we have no clue as to what their eventual fate is, you know. I think clearly Omega will survive, but I'd be very surprised if by the end of this, all of the members of the Bad Batch survived. You know, it just doesn't feel like that's going to be a realistic outcome. But who knows? Anyway, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And me and Zuko, we'll see you for the next episode.